My name is Aaron One Love Kinzer. I'm from originally from Charleston, West Virginia, capital city of coal country. I come from a long family of miners. We know the history behind America and the Great Migration, and that's how I ended up and came about in West Virginia. We know about the crack epidemic that ravaged our country in the '80s. My mother was a victim of that. And so I ended up in Virginia in the '90s as a young teen, and then I made my way down to Tennessee as about 19, 20 years old. The part of the country I'm from is Appalachia. You know what I'm saying? A very forgotten part of the country, not known for Black people, but we exist there. And I come from that area. So the part I'm from is where West Virginia, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina all kind of coincide and meet in a small part of the country, and I'm from that region. Now I'm down here in Georgia. Starting life over, making it happen, rapping, not trapping. While serving a bid in federal prison, I started writing poetry with a purpose. I've written poetry for several years since I was a teenager, just because I like to express myself. I'm a product and child of hip hop, so I always wanted to rap and be in the ciphers and freestyle and things like that. But once I became incarcerated, I had to process a lot of emotions during that time of my life. It was a real trying time, and poetry and writing was an outlet for that. And I was able to be able to channel my emotions and my thoughts. Because I read a lot. I like to study. I'm a student, so I form a lot of opinions about a lot of topics. And poetry allowed me to express my views and my opinions creatively, and not come across so radical and hardened. So about 2016, I started writing with a purpose, as I say. I had books in mind, I had collections in mind when I started writing these. And about December 2016, I really started writing them with a purpose. I was incarcerated at Butner Federal Prison outside of Durham, North Carolina. And so roughly about 7 years, I've been writing with the purpose and with intention to affect the lives of people with my subject matter and my content. And so that's what's been going on. I've been doing it ever since, consistently, as much as possible, just trying to relay my thoughts and get my feelings out on paper as much as I could on every topic that crossed the television, every topic that came across my eyes as I read newspapers and magazines, because I was an avid, voracious reader of everything I get my hands on: encyclopedias, dictionaries, magazines, books, newspapers, history. I love history, so I try to incorporate a lot of that history and relate it to the present times within my writing and my poetry. I'm also a journalist. Like I say, I read a lot, from a lot of opinions about a lot of topics. But while incarcerated, it's a real mental strain. It's not physical. Incarceration is 90% mental, 10% physical, probably even more so, more mental than physical, than 90%. However, I started writing stories and just expressing myself in that way. So I wanted to start telling the stories of the guys on the inside and the life on the inside, and really humanize the people who are inside, myself being one of them. Hollywood paints a story of us and tells a story on TV of the guys on the lunch line with the knife getting shanked, and it's always murder and it's always bad. And, there's a stereotype of the convict who comes home from prison. He's radical, and the uber radical Black Muslim crazy guy who comes home and he's the joke. He's always the joke when he comes home. In all the movies we see, that brother becomes the joke and the laughing stock of the people around him. When in actuality, that brother's been incarcerated, but he's had time to sit down and read and to study and to find who he is, perform lots and lots of introspection and self-searching and self-realization. And I was one of those brothers. I was able to do that, and I was able to take the lives of the men that's around me and the issues that we all face, and put that on paper and begin to submit that to different publications, and try to get published and just see what happens. I didn't really have an intention of being a journalist. In 2019, as I was incarcerated at Allenwood Federal Prison in Pennsylvania, I got there because I got caught with a phone at a camp in Virginia. So they shipped me off to Allenwood to a higher security facility. And I took a writing class, adult continuing education class, on just creative writing. And the instructor in the class presented me with an opportunity to submit some writing to Columbia University was having the Incarcerated Writers Initiative. And so I went to my journal, because I had been journaling for some time, and I took a journal entry and cleaned it up a little bit, dressed it up a little bit, and submitted it to Columbia. And, few months later, they wrote back to me and told me that they accepted my piece for publication. And I think that began my journalism career as being a writer, a narrative writer, and a storyteller versus just a poet. You know what I mean? And that was something that was not planned and wasn't intentional, but it happened. And I've garnered a decent amount of success in doing that. And I was glad I'm able to shine a light on the lives of the men and women who are incarcerated and out of sight, out of mind from the public eye. And I've been able to write about being a parent from prison and exercise in prison and mental health in prison. And I've been able to cover several topics, and it's been very beneficial for me. And, I don't really hype it up or toot my own horn, but I was able to become a published writer in several national outlets from inside prison. You know what I mean? And it's something I'm proud of, but it's just the beginning for me. You know what I mean? And so yeah, journalism, New York Times, Newsweek magazine, the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Intercept, Prison Journalism Project, the Marshall Project, Justice Arts Coalition. These are just some of the outlets where my work can be found at, where I've written for poetry or narrative journalism writing. So definitely, man, it's definitely been something I've been passionate about as far as journalism, for the last about 3 years, and it's really come to life. You know what I mean? And but as far as on the poetry side, I started writing, like I say, with purpose and intent in 2016, and so around 2017, I had the opportunity to write for the Nation of Islam brothers was having their Savior's Day event, which is their national annual event to commemorate Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad. And they asked me to write a piece for that event. I was in Butler, North Carolina, and that was my first time being asked to write and bring something to the table tailored to a certain theme and event. And I was very flattered and honored to be able to do that. And so my first time performing poetry as a spoken word artist was in, I think, February of 2017. And, that was something I've always wanted to do. I've always been a fan of Def Poetry Jam since I was a teenager in my early 20s. I always wanted to be a part of that show. And also, we know it's still a brainchild of hip hop. You know what I mean? Birth from the tree of hip hop, and hip hop is just birth from the tree of the blues and jazz and so forth and so on, which we know comes, as our history comes from the slave fields and the cotton fields and the speakers. So I was real honored to do that. And, the rest is history. I performed for the Nation of Islam brothers on the inside, the Moorish Science Temple brothers, the Nation of Gods and Earths. I've performed in front of Christian crowds and written pieces tailored towards spirituality and God and the Lord and Jesus, because I come from that background as well, raised in the church in Virginia. So I got that background as well. So I'm able to speak to that topic and infuse my whole life, bits and pieces at a time, into my writing. And it's worked out, and I'm really happy about what's been coming of age since then over the last 7 years. This first piece I'm gonna do for y'all is called New Black America, and it's inspired by what I was witnessing while I was incarcerated for 13 years, from 2010 to the year 2023. I witnessed the change in the country itself, as most people did, but I definitely got to see it from a bird's eye standpoint. I wasn't involved in the change because I was incarcerated, so I'm witnessing it through TV and reading about it and seeing about everything that's going on and get snippets and pieces. But I was able to witness the change from afar and see a change in my community, in the Black community in particular. And I was very happy and very proud to see that my thinking on the inside, which usually would be lambasted and ridiculed and laughed at upon my release if I said the stuff that I feel now, is accepted, and I began to see it displayed on TV and all over the country, whether it be Black excellence and the conversation in our community about generational wealth, the conversation in our community about the importance of politics and playing a role in politics. I got to see Obama get reelected, but I was in prison. But I was the beneficiary of some of his policies that he was able to push through and initiate. So I got to see the evolution of my community from afar, and I was waiting on my opportunity to be a part of it. But this piece, New Black America, was inspired by what I saw in the Black community, and that's why I entitled it The New Black America. So what's it take to survive in a Black nation? Well, first we need representation without hesitation.
an unashamed proclamation of the fact that we are indeed black. So please don't confuse my light skin with the opposition you face within these borders. You see, surviving seems simple when compared to succeeding. For surviving is simply something we've done for what seems like centuries. The time for the latter is upon us. Look at my toolbox and you find the weapons. But I ain't talking bullets and bats. I'm talking knowledge and facts used to defeat the capital gains tax. I'm teaching my son about the profit margins before his next birthday party. At the same time telling my daughter she could be the face of the new black Barbie. I ain't sorry. Dig a little deeper in my toolbox, you'll find the hammers and nails used to close the coffin on my poverty. Keep digging, you'll find the universal commercial codes used to claim my sovereignty. Don't bother me, I'm on my rise to the top. Only then can I reach back for brothers, moms, sisters, and pops. This thing don't stop. Yes, indeed. The information that we need is in the books they forbade our ancestors to read. Just look at me. I had to go to federal court and take a plea to a so-called deal to leave my fam. But now, as a conscious black man to society, I truly am a threat. So I gamble on me. And you ask, what's the bet? I say check. But then they push all in with racism. And then they bank on individualism, consumerism, and materialism. But me, I double down on discipline. Because my eyes have seen the glory and my ears have heard such tragic stories one too many times. It's time out for the blind leading the blind. So along with knowledge of self, I add financial literacy. Let me show you how I made federal prison benefit me. Because I used to study while countries manipulate the currency. And then I got out and learned that this so-called land of the free currently suppresses my opportunities to win. But I'm coming off the bench like Jeremy Lin. I refuse to resign my duties like General Michael Flynn. You better come again. I'm struggling to maintain my sanity because all life's vanities threaten to do me in. But let me show you how we win. I'm talking about brick and mortar, dividends and stock tips. That leads to asset acquisitions, luxury cars, and boat slips. I'm talking about international trade, letters of credit, the IMF, the XM, and the World Bank. Now take that back to your hood, but hold up. Don't pull rank. Form a think tank, brainstorm, enlighten a youthful mind. Teach them it's the knowledge and money that brightens the shine. The paper money is only a tool to maintain material gain. Yeah, that's capitalism's way of masking the political pain because the real fight is with gerrymandering, voter ID laws, and voter suppression on Capitol Hill. Somebody file an appeal. Make a case. A miscarriage of justice is taking place. And it's been going on for centuries. Not behind our backs, but right in front of our face. Brothers and sisters, our race is in a race, and we in last place. We desperately got to pick up the pace because the technology of tomorrow is here today and rapidly on the rise. Every day, politicians arrive on Capitol Hill with intentions to tell us lies to our eyes, yet we must not believe. We gotta show them that our success is more than just some trick up our sleeve. I refuse to be deceived by the narrative brought forth by Europeans from overseas. Nigga, please. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? We made a complete fool of in plain view. A few people just want to get by, and that's cool. A few people just want to get high, and that's cool. But I'm sad to report that more than a few people just want to continue living this lie, and I don't know why, but they better open their eyes and get their mind right. Don't shoot the messenger talking about, oh, he trying to be white. Nah, my name is Aaron, and that means light, and I'm here to fulfill my destiny. I got a God-given obligation to give the next generation the best of me, to the death of me. And when it's all said and done, you can have the rest of me or whatever's left of me. Just don't question me. These some big shoes I gotta fill. You can't make my quest for me. But we can stand together, brothers in arms, and present a united front because that's when they get scared of you. So for all my people under the sound of my voice today, I'm proud to say welcome to the new Black America.
All right, y'all. That was New Black America, my poem. I really hope you enjoyed it. Really hope you were touched and moved by it. And coming up next is another poem of mine for you all that I really want to share with people. It's called I Can't Breathe. And obviously, we all kind of know where this poem was inspired from. It was inspired by the death of George Floyd and the wave that washed over our country after that. You know what I mean? May 25th, George Floyd was murdered by a cop. May 28th, I felt moved and urged to just write something, you know what I mean? And so I wrote a piece called I Can't Breathe related to his death and just inspired by what I saw take place from afar in our country after that, you know. And, I saw several pieces come out, songs, poems with the same title afterwards, which let me know that when I was incarcerated and away from the world and out of tune, out of touch with everybody, that my thinking and my spirit was in line with the thinking and spirit of the public, you know, and I was happy about that. And so, you know, that was the background and the premise for this piece. So coming up, I Can't Breathe.
suffocating from the fumes of false claims of justice and equality. I'm buried beneath this brave land's bravado. Pointed fingers make 911 calls. I'm tired of running for my life. Tired of having no other option but to fight. Tired of being America's battered wife. I'm without possession of tricks up my sleeves to prevent united nooses from hanging my brothers in the breeze. I'm dying to get away, but I may not be alive to leave because I can't breathe. Inhale, exhale, I'm crying out to the public. Onlookers gather, tears splatter on the ground, awful sounds of despair. People frozen with a momentary care, ungodly gaze and stare. Snapshots of America's past time, America's past crime. Never could this be the last time because I'm expendable. Only in this freed man's land is it sensible. Somebody, anybody, God, please, please, please. I huff, I puff, I'm cuffed, I'm seized, and I can't breathe. I am a human being, but this is not humane. We live in the same country, but we are not the same. I'm sold and stole from home, made a voyage in chains. You vote to make America great again, I'm choking on the change. Look me in my eyes, I'm your brother, I'm your peer. But you see me as the other, and you've made it clear. You have no concern for my life in the day or the night. I'm tired of having no other option but to fight. I'm crying out in public view for the pressure to ease. My neck remains on the police knees, and I can't breathe. We are the gods of this land. Blind to our biological light, we suffer at the whims of white man. Hoping for change, but we neglect the right plans. Days from police tase, chasing our tails for cheese in this American maze. Vaccinate my body, retard my coming of age. Scientific, not terrific, the assault you made. All through in the genes of a young black babe. Shackle my feet while I'm still in a womb. Manufacture my death and doom. Well, you can mummify this Pharaoh and King Tut's tomb. Asthma attack my blackness, I'm running out of steam. Losing my breath in hot pursuit of America's nightmarish dream, and I can't breathe. Paramilitary police, tanks on the street, bound up without bond for days and weeks. Body cams broadcast brutality for the world to see. Prosecutors overcharged and cops walk away scot-free. Impatient protesters march for equality. Weak black leaders urge wait and see, but in the meantime, I can't breathe. I'm dying to get away, but I may not be alive to leave. I'm crying out for anybody, God, mama, please, please, please. I huff, I puff, I'm cuffed, I'm seized, and I can't breathe.
Okay, y'all, that was I Can't Breathe, my poem inspired by the death and the life of George Floyd and the evolution and the revolution that took place in our country afterwards. And I was glad I was able to share that with you all. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and I hope you all were touched by it and moved by it. And I hope you reach out and look for more work from me. You can find me Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, formerly known as Twitter, Threads. I'm out there. I'm on Snap. My name is Aaron Kinzer. You can search my name. That's AARONKINZER. I go by One Love. You can check out my link tree, www.linktr.ee/AK One Love. That's ONELOVE. You can check me out that way, and you get access to all my work, all my articles, all the news articles and the press releases related to my sentence and my arrests in 2009 and 2010. My federal sentence began in 2014. You'll get all the information in the background. I believe in transparency, and I don't mind sharing myself, giving myself away to the public. That's what I'm about, having an impact. So check me out, Aaron One Love Kinzer, for the people, man, at all times. It's all peace and love. All right, y'all, man. Hey, it's time for us to get up out of here. I'm your boy, One Love. I'm down here, Studio 125, Multimedia Complex. Hope you enjoyed the show. Y'all don't miss out on all the next episodes coming up. Hey, we out here. Y'all tune in next time. Till then, peace and love.